More now with Pastor Stephen Broden, Executive Director of the Content of Character series, and Marc, the Chair of the Center for Urban Renewal and Education. Gentlemen, unlike many BLM activists of today, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. supported nonviolent protests to accomplish civil rights goals, and he spoke of Americans coming together in love and understanding.
It is an overflowing love which seeks nothing in return. Is understanding, creative, redemptive goodwill for all men. Theologians would say that it is the love of God operating in the human heart. And when one rises to love on this level, he loves men not because he likes them, but he loves every man because God loves him.
Dr. King was a pastor and often talked about God in his civil rights messages. So what do you think? Is God missing from this discussion about race in America, Pastor Broden?
Oh, absolutely. It is the intent of the liberal left to extract the influence of God out of the public square. I believe it was Antonio Gramsci who evaluated after the Bolshevik Revolution in 1917. He concluded that in order for us to have success in the West, we must infiltrate gradually and change the doctrines of the West away from the Christian influence. He targeted Christianity as one of the institutions that must be replaced in order for them to influence the other 7 institutions that influence us today.
We're now learning that the COVID pandemic lockdowns, virtual learning, even masking have actually harmed learning and the mental health of American children. So I'm guessing here that children in minority communities have been the hardest hit. Your thoughts about that?
It's actual child abuse. Our children in elementary and middle school, the way they learn is by facial expression and about how we relate to one another. And the masks that are being mandated now, which, by the way, there's no science to support, have greatly impacted our children. In addition to that, the time that they spent away from their peers and at home doing distance learning. We learned from Johns Hopkins recently that the lockdowns actually didn't help us at all. But yet, we've got nations all around the world who are dropping their mandates, and the United States seems to be slow to adopt what we call the science that they say they follow.
Stephen, how about spiritually? How has the pandemic hurt our kids in that way?
Well, there has been a movement in our country away from our Judeo-Christian heritage, which has influenced our nation and has influenced the public square ever since the conception of this nation. That has been reduced in terms of its influence and its ability to frame for us what is morally right versus what is morally wrong. As a result of that, we are seeing the replacement of our Judeo-Christian heritage by a philosophy that's grounded in a secular humanist design. That design is devoid of the divine. And as a result, we are redefining morality in America that impacts not only what's happening in the public square and in our culture, but has an adverse impact on the psyche and spiritual development of our children. It's being replaced with ideas of same-sex marriage, sodomy, gender fluidity, transgenderism as a protected class. All of that represents a shift away from our Judeo-Christian heritage and an embracement of a doctrine that is leading us towards a transformation of our nation.
And Stephen, tell us more then. How is your Content of Character series making a difference?
It is our hope to inform, educate, and activate the community, the Christian community in particular. Information asks and answers the question, what's going on? There's a need right now for most Americans to understand what is happening in America is not organic. It is deliberate. It is by design. Education asks and answers the question, why is this happening to us? It is here where we introduce to the Christian community socialism, Marxism, communism, and let them know that those philosophies are driving the transformation that is taking place in our country today.
Marc, I understand you've started a new show. Tell us about it. What do you talk about?
I started the Marc Little Show, a podcast. And I got to tell you, I decided that it wasn't enough to post memes that other people create. I decided that what I do is a discussion of faith, politics, and the law. And so that's what I do. It drops every Tuesday, and it's available where every podcast is. And I do a visual and an audio version. So thank you for mentioning that, and I hope that those will follow and listen and give me your feedback.
Okay, gentlemen, brothers, we appreciate both of you, Pastor Stephen Broden and Attorney Marc Little. Let's continue this discussion in the future, okay? We thank you both. Thank you for taking time to be with us to share your insights.
Please have me back, and God bless you, and God bless your listeners.